Good morning. Happy Saturday. Time for stamp class. Make sure I'm in the right group. Dale is with me this morning. Oliver's with me this morning. They're waving. Hope I'm in the right group. Not wanting to come up for me. Good morning. Got some people joining. There we go. Oh, and I've got the volume up. We'll fix that. There we go. It's time for stamp class. Super excited to be here with y'all this morning. Wait just a second to let some people hop on with us. It's a great day to be in the craft room. Good morning, Donna. Welcome back home. So I know we've got several that are working today or kind of out of pocket today. So several will be watching the replay, and we appreciate you doing that as well. So that's always an option. So I know people are busy, but we still like doing class once a month and making some awesome cards. So we're going to go ahead and get started. As I said, Dale's here with me today and Oliver. Dale is going to be helping some with class today because we're going to be using our Stampin Blends. Now, I did post a list of supplies that you will need, just basic supplies. You'll need your trimmer for one card, just some snips, your bone folder, black ink, or really whatever color you want to use for sentiments. And we're going to be using the stamps from this collection all together. But if you do not have that, then you'll be able to pull sentiments from your collection of stamps, and that's going to work just fine. So as usual, we are not allowed with Stampin' Up! Policy to stamp images for you. But I'm really excited about the Designer Series paper that we have. It gave us the opportunity to send you some images that you can color. So we'll be using Stampin' Blends today, but if you do not have those, any type of coloring medium that you have and that you enjoy using is fine. And if you're not a fan of coloring, you're going to be able to use the images just in the black and white print of the Designer Series paper. So don't let that stress you at all. And you're just going to learn some coloring techniques and about the products today, and we're just going to have some fun. So if you registered for class, which means you made a minimum purchase or paid $20, then this is your class packet. And you're going to notice it's a little bit thicker this month because we're actually creating 5 projects. I couldn't stop when I was designing. This is such an awesome collection. So we're making 5 cards today. And so everything that you need is inside other than like your adhesive. That's something else you're going to need to pull out, and your basic supplies. But all of your paper and even some embellishments, we included those in there too. So that's what your packet looks like. I do have 2 extra packets in case you missed out on registration. You can just contact me if you would like to make the projects. Okay, let's take a look at the products that are in this collection. We've got the Here Together Stamp Die Bundle. Whoops, and I should have put my dies on a magnet sheet, just haven't done that yet. So you've got a couple of word phrases, a couple of hands, and then a little heart in the dies. And these hand images do coordinate with the stamps. And I haven't really tried it on the Designer Series paper. I didn't think about that, Dee.
I think they're different.
Okay, I think so too. So then here, this will show you a little bit better as far as the dies that coordinate with the stamped hand images. So the Pinky Promise and then the heart hands. And then you've got some really awesome sentiments. And I love fonts. I love beautiful sentiments. And, you know, the phrases and the actual fonts are just really nice on this set. So it's a great set to have. We're going to be using at least one of the phrase dies. Move that out of the way for just a minute. And we'll take a look at the Designer Series paper. Now, I am just down to just this little scrap of this piece, but you've got this in your packet, so you're going to be able to see both sides of it. I think that's the very first card we're making. So we'll flip through this paper real quick. It is a black and white 6x6 paper stack. And I love having black and white because you can color many of these papers and make it whatever color you want. But you also have the option of using it black and white and then just adding a pop of color. And that always is just so striking when we use the paper in that way. So either by adding, you know, coloring of images, I want to point these color, or even some ribbon. So I love that these have the images, and you've got these in your packet that you're going to be able to color. And the way that this is set up is you actually, when you cut it at 3x3, you get 4 of these pieces. And then this one is similar to how Stampin' Up! Has designed some of the 12x12 paper, where you've got an image that's upside down. But again, when you cut that at 3 inches, you've got 2 long strips. So that would even be great for a slimline card. So here's some of the more black and white that you could actually color if you wanted to. Whoops. That piece is excited to be shown.
I thought it was trying to get away from
And always great to have a black and white stripe. They're just really cool paper. We've really enjoyed. So this is fun too. I've seen a lot of people just coloring in some of those hearts with the line image and making your own rainbow. So just really pretty paper. And then last we have the Natural Tone Stampin' Blends, and I want to pull these out. So it is 10 of our alcohol markers. And so in this collection, this is the only item that we know will be carried over into our new annual catalog in May. The rest of those items are just available, I want to say, until the first part of May. I'll have to double check. So we have not had alcohol markers in skin tone in the past. We've had lots of our Stampin' Up! Colors, but not the skin tone. So this is something that I think is a great addition to this collection. And what I love is that it's such a varied tone shade, and you've got lots of different options here. And so you're going to see us using quite a few of the markers today to give you a different look. What am I trying to say? Don't know. I don't either. It's
you can get a really wide
there you go. Thank you. A wide variety of skin tones. Now, don't think that you have to use these only for skin tones, because, you know, there's little animal stamps that we have that would be great for those as well. So if you had bunnies or bears, deer, that type thing, you could use these Stampin' Blends to color those images as well. So I'm just really excited that we have this addition to our product line, that we've got all of these different colors and these different tones. So right now you can actually purchase all 10 markers as a set with one item code. When they move into our annual catalog, they're going to be sold in pairs. Now usually our Stampin' Blends are sold in a light and dark shade. They're packaged together, but this time it's in tone. So you've got your light, medium, and darker. So you've got a 2-pack, like for example, those 2 markers would come together, but they're not a light and dark of that tone necessarily. Okay, I'm gonna move these over. So we're using the Stampin' Blends. If you have Stampin' Blends and you have your color lifter marker, and also we grabbed light and dark petal pink for fingernails, if you have those, great. Now, if you don't have alcohol markers, or if you have another brand, grab those. If you don't have alcohol markers and you want to color, there's so many options that you can use. You may have our water painters, and you can use our classic ink, so soft suede, early espresso, crumb cake. You can use those colors with your blender pen or your water painter. You could also use chalks if you happen to have like the pastel chalks. You could use those. You could use colored pencils, watercolor pencils. What else? There's Stampin' Write markers. I don't know, we would have the same colors like soft suede, early espresso, crumb cake, Sahara sand. So you can use lots of different things to color, whatever you normally use if you don't have Stampin' Blends or if you have another alcohol marker. Okay, I think we're ready to get started. We're going to be talking more about the blends markers as we go along. So let's look at our first project. This one is a super simple one. You're just going to take the very first envelope off your packet, and we're going to go ahead and create this card. So just a little bit of coloring here. We're not going to worry about blending. We're just going to color in the image. You may just want to color one set of the hands doing the pinky promise, or you may want to do both. I just thought this was a fun way to use this designer series paper and give you a chance to use the image. On the stamp set, it's much larger. And actually, I think I may show you some samples before we get started. Let's do that. Ooh, our clock is way off, isn't it? Let me move that one out of the way. Kind of all over the place this morning. Okay, I'm going to show you some samples. First, I'm going to bring in some cards that we made for team meeting. So this is a super cute one, just featuring one of the sweet sentiments and just a little bit of designer series paper. Each month at team meeting, we have a make and take packet that we send out so that everyone can do some projects together. We used a Coastal Cabana and Poppy Parade with black and white color scheme for these. So that's a little bit different. So here's another one of the cards, and we use the note cards to create these as well. Those showing up okay, Dee?
Look good.
Okay, great. Here's that one where it's got the hands raised. I just think that's such a cool image. And then here we have the Here For You sentiment that can be die cut. And I think that's the one we're using today for class. So that was a set of cards that we made for team meeting. Then I participated in a swap, and I have lots of projects to share with you to show you different ways that you can use this collection. So this is a really neat layout, just using strips of the designer series paper and then I Promise sentiment. And I noticed when I took this out of the package that the pearlized paper is what that demonstrator used underneath. Really pretty. So it gives it a little bit of shimmer. Then this is a card that we created, and interestingly enough, it's similar to that one. This is one that we created for the swap. I just love that sentiment. And using the red ribbon underneath. Lots of these cards have the real red ribbon, so I think that's really pretty. This one is just super simple, but I love it. It's beautiful. That paper is just so pretty. And again, that pop of color with the red. Here is one that's very creative. So if you have a golfer in your life, added the E to the For You. Isn't that a great idea? I would have never thought to do this. And I'm not sure where she got this from, but really, really cute. I say she. I guess it could have been a guy that made that. Here's another really sweet card just featuring the designer series paper and that pretty sentiment. I love this one about kindness. And then we're going to get into some that have some coloring. Well, not just yet. Here's another one that has the die cut. Now, this one is interesting. The person that created this card colored the cardstock with the blends, and did kind of that ombre effect going from light to dark, and then die cut the sentiment. So let me bring that a little bit closer where you can see that was a really cool idea.
Showing up good.
Good. Now we're going to get into some different people color. This one, I don't really see any blending. It's just strictly coloring, and that's fine, especially if you're beginning with blends. You can just color like you normally do with markers. So that's a really pretty card. Here's another one. Now this one is a fun fold. But again, a beautiful job with the coloring. And that's what's so nice about the Stampin' Blends. They really do make it easy. Here's one with the Pinky Promise. So it is colored and then die cut out. So that's another little trick. If you're not great at staying in the lines, if you die cut it or fussy cut it once you're done, that can hide if you went out of the lines a little bit. We also have the color lifter marker, and it really does make a difference. If you go out of the lines, you can lift some of that color. It doesn't take it all away, but it definitely helps. This one is one of my favorites from this swap. I think that's a beautiful card.
And they got the bling bracelets.
Yes, so we're going to be doing this today too. I thought this was a fabulous idea. If you'll look, we've got some iridescent rhinestones, we've got some pearls, we've got some black matte dots, so it looks like each of these girls have their jewelry on. So I don't think I would have ever thought to do that. Super, super cute. And so we did include some bling that you can add to these cards and just use them as you would like to. You've got some matte black dots today and some iridescent rhinestones, which are my current favorite embellishment. Here you have this without coloring. So I wanted to definitely share this sample with you because I think this is still just a striking card. It's beautiful without coloring at all, just using the stamped image. And I really like this layout too. Here's another one. It's a beautiful card. And again, just colored those hands, not a lot of blending, not making it complicated, just making it really pretty. Just a couple more for you. I really like this one as well. So a lot of people went with the black, white, and red, which we're doing today, but we're going to pull in some other colors too. Which one I have? A couple more? Yeah. Here's another one where they use the sentiment that's die cut and just strips of paper. That's a super simple card.
Donald likes the cards.
And one last sample.
You got a whole slew of people that have jumped in.
Good. Welcome, everybody. We're just showing off some samples, and we're about to make our first project. Okay, let me get these out of the way. And I'll try to take some pictures of some of those to add to the group, just so you can get a little closer look at some of the coloring. Okay, let's go ahead and get out our supplies for this first project. We're going to start with a basic white card base, and it's our thick basic white. I really like using the thick basic white when I'm using it for a card base. Varnish that fold, and this is just a super simple card. I'm going to set this aside because Dale's going to be doing our color black ink for your stamping. I'm going to have to find my stamp. May have to do that in a minute. Let's go ahead and put components together. So you've just got a piece of real red cardstock, then a piece of the basic white, and a piece of that awesome heart paper. Now, if you like the other side better, you could certainly do that too. You're going to find that throughout the day, throughout this morning as we create, you can mix it up. So we'll just layer those together. And again, that black, white with a pop of red. I know some of you are creating along with me. So we're going to just take our time today. I think it would be fun to color in some of these hearts if you wanted to. Do you see the I Promise stamp, Dee, over there? I don't know where I put it. Thank you. Let that dry for just a second and do our stamping. So we've got just a little strip of white cardstock, just about a 1/2 inch wide. We're going to use the sentiment I Promise. Now this strip is way longer than what you need, but it'll give you a couple chances to stamp if you're like me and you need a couple chances. That one looks, oh, I rocked it. I got a halo. Let's try that again. Hopefully not getting my head in the camera. And I messed up again. That's why we've got another side, right?
Oh yeah.
Hope that's not a sign of the day. Gosh, why can't I get that? Not getting it inked up good. Okay, last try. 4th time is the charm. And I did it again. But I happen to have another strip laying here. Haven't stamped since yesterday, so.
The more you practice, the better you get, right?
Sure. Only been stamping for what, 10 years? I've been a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator for 9 years now. What, Tuesday or Wednesday? Wednesday was my anniversary, I think. But I'm not perfect. I still have a halo. We're going to go with it though, because a lot of that's going to get cut off because I'm just snipping right across there. And I'm going to put a little piece of bling and it's not even going to be, I'm not going to worry about it. Okay. Now we'll go ahead and put this together.
Jan said she really liked the card with the ruffled circle on it.
That is actually a, what are those called? Doily. That is a doily. I'm trying to think of which suite of products that's from. Something about home. I'll have to look. Yeah, that's a really pretty one. That looked pretty straight.
That's good.
I think so. So again, this is a super simple card, but I really want to focus on the image. So we've got a scalloped heart. And Dale's going to come in and do the coloring for me. He's just a lot better at that. And I think that you'll enjoy watching him color throughout the morning. He's just really good at it. So I'm going to add some Stampin' Dimensionals to the back of the red heart. I can get them off. There we go.
Be sure and put it all together so we don't have any pressure, okay?
Okay. I'll put the card together and then he can stamp the image and just add that colored image. Teamwork. And I just added this kind of at an angle here. Really, you can put it wherever you'd like. And then I'll also use some dimensionals on our sentiment. I can't believe it took me that many tries. Some days are like that. That's what's great about stamping. You don't have to be perfect.
We got lots of strips of paper though.
Yes, we do. And we'll just add our little sentiment. Now I'm putting that over that heart a little bit, but we'll be able to stick that colored image under there. And I'm even going to add my bling. In your packet, you received some iridescent rhinestones. I love them so much. And also some black matte dots. I'm going to leave those in the envelope because Oliver has already eaten some black matte dots this morning. So I want to keep the iridescent rhinestones to add right over my little sin here. Oops, come on now. Where I've got a little bit too much ink. Who knew? If you mess up, you just cover it with shiny and everything is better.
That's a chance for embellishment, right?
It is, exactly. Okay, Dee, I'm going to bring in a piece of grid paper for you. Because one of the things we know about our Stampin' Blends is they are alcohol markers. And there's not a lot of rules when you're using them. But one of the things you definitely want to do is protect your work surface. Because it does bleed through, and that's normal. Okay, gonna trade places here, and Dale will color that for us. Did you get the red marker? Do you want to color the heart?
Yeah, let me
Okay.
grab
Doing a chair switch.
one. All right. This image is a little different than the previous one, so.
Oh, okay. Yes, I just punched the hearts from the designer series paper.
I like working with the brush tip because it's, I think as I flip it across there, it helps the
What do you mean the brush tip?
the long thin tip as opposed to like the marker tip.
Oh, okay. I call it the fine tip and the brush tip. So can you show them on the marker the lines, how you know which end is which?
This one that has what looks like a paintbrush to me is what I call the brush tip, and then the one that has just like a little bullet dot on it at the end of it, that's the marker tip.
Okay,
It's
more of a fine tip.
yeah,
Okay.
it's like a fine tip marker, and I just
Oliver's being silly. Just brushing on the color.
brushing on the color,
Okay.
trying to fill it all in.
Oh, it looks like Donna was having some trouble with the connection. Sometimes when we're live, there are issues, but the recording is good. So hopefully that has straightened out. But if not, you may want to hop out and come back in, and then maybe even watch the replay, Donna.
I'm gonna take the light petal pink and paint some nails in here.
What color markers are you using?
Well, on that one was the one that's 400.
Okay. We'll talk a little bit about how those are numbered too.
And then we'll jump down here to like let's go to 800. What do you say? There we go.
Yeah, so these are they're numbered rather than the colors, so that's different as well from our other Stampin' Blends.
The if you're really patient and you want to use a trick from the old masters, is on the round areas of the wrist and all, you can use a circular stroke to kind of help trick the eye. And also, like if you want to, on this one edge of the hand, you can come back in and add some more as you go, but it doesn't have to be completely covered all the time. And then now let's see if we can do these two little hearts.
Okay. So you have to have a little bit of patience and not rush yourself and practice. Just like anything that you become good at, you have to practice.
Okay.
Okay. You want to glue it on?
Sure.
That's all we need to finish up that image. And a little bit later, we'll be doing some more coloring.
The bleed through.
Oh, okay. That's normal. So a little later, we'll do some more coloring and we'll talk a little bit more about how the markers are numbered and that type of thing.
I like using lots of liquid glue so that it floats around and you get to shift it all around before you it gets set and glued down.
Okay, Robbie's saying on this card she flipped the hand design.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you use the B side of the paper. That's fine. Yeah, if you don't want to color, there's going to be other options for you. You can either use the paper like it is, or that's a great idea, Robbie. Thanks for sharing that. Okay, so that is project number 1. Trading places again. Project number 1 for you. Super simple. I just love that image with the pinky promise. It's been a while since I pinky promised. And we will be back at 10 o'clock. We're going to be creating 2 cards at that time. I don't think there's any coloring on those next 2 cards. But at 11 o'clock, we're going to have more coloring and be doing those other images that have the hands. So we will see you back at 10 o'clock. Thank you.